Flashback.
What did you do?
Everybody's always blaming me for everything.
Today's apparent assassination attempt comes amid increasingly fierce rhetoric on the campaign trail itself. Mr. Trump, his running mate J.D. Vance continue to make baseless claims about Haitian immigrants in Ohio. This weekend, there were new bomb threats in that town. Our Maggie Vespa is in Columbus, Ohio, with more.
Lester, simply put, Springfield, Ohio has been inundated by threats over the last several days, closing government buildings, schools, hospitals. Today, effectively closing a local university campus after administrators said someone threatened a mass shooting targeting Haitians. This in light of, officials say, a false online conspiracy theory alleging Haitian immigrants in that city are eating people's pets.
Well. The liberal media gets exposed again because they have been in complete lockstep trying to fabricate this narrative that Donald Trump and J.D. Vance are causing violence in the country with their rhetoric, okay? Their words is what's causing Haitians to receive bomb threats out in Ohio, and their word is what's causing the assassination attempts against Donald Trump. Like, it's their rhetoric. Their rhetoric is too bad. They need to clean it up and stop being such racists. That's basically the narrative. Now, the thing is, as you could tell by the title and the thumbnail, the liberal media were lying, okay? This whole thing turned out to be a hoax in regard to the bomb threat, which we're going to get to a little bit later in this video. But I want to remind you guys of some of the disastrous, extremely evil, scumbaggery things that they're saying, because Donald Trump just had the second assassination attempt on his life. This is the second one in, like, I think a 65-day time period. It hadn't even been 6 months. Can we go a quarter without an attempt against the former president? And these evil behind radical people that are actively attempting to radicalize people against President Donald Trump are blaming him for his own assassination attempt.
Yeah. Do you expect there to be calls from within the Trump campaign to do that? Because he's going to reach out to his supporters and say, let's take this down. We do not know, again, the source of any gunshot or gunshots. We don't know who's responsible for this. The whole thing has yet to be 100% confirmed from start to finish how this all played out. But do you expect to hear anything from the Trump campaign about toning down the rhetoric, toning down the violence, or would that be atypical of the former president?
Well, Alex, remember back to the assassination attempt on President Trump's life and how, there was talk of a new tone, and then the Republican convention was, by Trumpian standards, muted. And it did seem like he was, just trying to take it down a few notches. But then by the end of his convention speech, we were kind of back to where we started. So I don't know how long this could, this moment of unity for the country where we come together and we say, I don't want any political opposition to be under threat of violence. It's not okay, any threat of violence, we don't want. I would love for us to have a unity type moment, but I think it's probably going to be pretty fleeting, as we've seen in the past.
The audacity to say, oh, you need to tone down your rhetoric and then maybe people won't want to kill you is astounding when you got people. Donald Trump is on TV a lot, but the folks in the liberal media are on the TV way more. All these political commentary people, all these people calling him a threat to democracy and just calling him Hitler, saying that he's an existential threat, he needs to be taken out, in some cases saying he needs to be shot.
Should be terrifying to all Americans, and he needs to be stopped.
These people are on TV all the time. They're on TV way more, and they're on way more networks. CNN, MSNBC, CBS, ABC, in regular NBC. You got MSNBC and regular NBC. These people are everywhere, talking crap about Trump on a daily basis, and they want to hold him to account severely for his rhetoric. Even if he says, go peacefully to the Capitol, well, his rhetoric incited an insurrection, like, go peacefully? But then when they are talking crap about him bullying him on the daily basis. They have no culpability at all. These people are the biggest scums of the earth. Scott Jennings called this out, saying that you need Kamala Harris herself, both her, Joe Biden, or something similar, maybe some folks in the fake news as well, to go out there and stop calling him Hitler, stop calling him dictator on day one. But we already know that that's not gonna happen.
But the rhetoric is on both sides. It's coming from the right,
Rhetoric,
it's coming from the left.
The rhetoric, they have tried to kill this man twice, okay? He got shot in the ear, and this guy was sitting up shop outside of a golf course to try to kill him this weekend. And I know after something like this happens, it's very fashionable to, talk about rhetoric on both sides. Donald Trump is the target, okay? He's the current target, and it's happening, and it's happened again. And honestly, we have to have a conversation about elections. If you lose an election, the country's not going to come to an end, okay? What I want Democrats to do, honestly, is to say, it's okay. Like, if Donald Trump wins, democracy will not end, the Constitution will not end, we're not going to live in a dictatorship, there will not be a bloodbath. All the things they say that are totally fabricated, to me, it would be a good day to stop doing that. The most important thing that could possibly happen, in my opinion, is for everybody to agree, especially Democrats, that the country is not going to be irreparably damaged if Democrats lose, that our Constitution is not going to go away, democracy is not going to come to an end, there will be no bloodbath, there will be no dictatorship on day one, which they all say all day long on this network and others. If everyone could just agree that that kind of hyperbolic statement will not take place anymore and that it's not been true every time it's been said, that would be a step in the right direction. And I know everybody's talking today about all the rhetoric in this country and what are we going to do to fix it going forward. Folks, it's too late. It's too late, in my opinion, because all the rhetoric about Donald Trump over the last several years, that he's a threat to democracy, that the country will come to an end if he gets elected president again. Even over the weekend, we had people blaming him and J.D. Vance for a bomb threat in Springfield. Well, if you have believed that over the weekend, then how can you not believe that the rhetoric leading up to today is not somehow responsible for the fact that this man has now survived 2 assassination attempts? So
that's a pipe dream, Scott. It's just not going to occur because these people don't care. They don't care if Donald Trump gets killed. Low key, they'll probably be happy. All this political violence is never okay. If it was never okay and you really wanted to strongly denounce it, then you would stop the dictator on day one. He wants to suspend the Constitution. He's an existential threat to our democracy. All of these ridiculous things, they're not going to, they might stop it for like a day, 2 days, maybe even 3 days. But if you think we're going to go longer than a couple days without them repeating that same rhetoric because they desperately want to win the election, you're a goddamn fool. Now, just the other day, we had Dana Bash losing her mind trying to force J.D. Vance to admit that him and Donald Trump were basically evil and that they were saying false things and that they were causing harm. Here's a quick reminder of what she had to say.
There is nothing that I have said that has led to threats against these hospitals. These hospitals, the bomb threats and so forth, it's disgusting. The violence is disgusting. We condemn it. We condemn all violence.
Senator,
and
this
threats
happened
of violence.
after you and
But to
President
say,
Trump were on the debate
say,
stage, said
Dana,
that cats and dogs
you
were
asked,
being eaten.
You asked a question, Dana, and I'm going to go ahead and answer it.
Okay, after that, they were
what we have said is that this town has suffered terribly under the policies of Kamala Harris.
You also had this fool, Kate Baldwin, I don't know how to pronounce her weird last name, and she was doing the same thing, saying, well, we can talk about the issues once we get past the lies that Trump and Vance were saying, and she just refuses to move on past it. She just keeps bringing this up over and over again like all the fake news is doing.
Joe Biden, which brought tens of thousands of migrants to this country.
You can talk about this policy without creating stories. The governor of the state of Ohio calls it a piece of garbage. There are 2 colleges that are shut down, they're going remote today because of concerns over the environment it has created around this. Does a digging in on the incorrect, not misinformation story create a problem for you guys down ballot? There is nothing wrong, as we've seen in recent politics, Congressman, saying I made a mistake or I have an evolving position, truly. But digging in on this when it's like transparently seems no one locally wants this to continue seems a problem for you guys.
What's a problem is the mainstream media refuses to report what caused this problem. You've had thousands of people dropped in this country. By the way, you say it's technically legal. Then why did they pause it? Because they had so much fraud in the program. The American people need to know that what the Biden-Harris administration did. Well, here, just let me finish, Kate.
You and I, we talk policy all the time. We sit down, but like,
I'd like to.
But this one, then get past the wrong and then move on to the policy.
How about talk about the wrong? The wrong is that we've got an administration that is lawless, and they allowed migrants from these different countries to come into this country, and they flew them into places like Ohio and Minnesota and California.
If this story of eating pets is completely factually wrong and is not true, you are okay with the story continuing and your candidate continue to talk about it.
I hope you start reporting on the problem that causes all of this, which is an administration. Kamala Harris is responsible for allowing thousands of migrants here improperly because they lied on their applications.
Will you answer that yes or no?
You realize 1,000 of these applications
I take your hope
had
on what we want to talk about,
24 phone numbers of dead people.
Congressman, the inability to answer yes or no on the simple question kind of takes away the heft of wanting to talk about the policy.
Well, I'd love it if you would talk about the actual policy created by the Biden
absolutely will once
administration.
you answer the yes or no.
Again, if you need to start reporting on what caused this problem.
We are.
Now, here's the kicker, guys. This is the moment that you've been waiting for, is the fact that all these bomb threats were a hoax. They're basically blaming these threats on MAGA, but it turns out, according to Ohio Governor Mike DeWine, says that every last one of these bomb threats was a hoax from overseas to begin with. Take a look.
At least 33 separate bomb threats, each one of which has been responded to, and each one of whom has been found as a hoax. So 33 threats, 33 hoax. I want to make that very, very clear. None of these had any validity at all. We know that people are very, very concerned, and we have taken some actions, and in a moment I'll let Andy Wilson go into more detail. But we've moved resources into Springfield. So I want to say to the parents in Springfield, these hoaxes, these threats have all been hoaxes. None of them have panned out. We have people, unfortunately, overseas who are taking these actions. Some of them are coming from one particular country. We think that this is, one more opportunity to mess with the United States, and they're continuing to do that. So we cannot let the bad guys win. Our schools must remain open.
So let me get this straight. You had the liberal media freaking out. Today is Monday, ever since Tuesday, ever since that debate. They was freaking out for a solid week straight. Okay, almost a week. We haven't quite hit Tuesday, but nearly a week straight. Like, he's making up baseless false rumors. Dana Bash, they have no right, none, sitting up here on the TV yelling, getting emotional at J.D. Vance, and then gonna try to blame somebody else for what was stated, try to blame the mayor out there, to try to say, oh, well, he's the one who says J.D. Vance is wrong and he's false and he's inciting violence. That's not what the mayor said. That's what Dana Bash, goofy, dumb behind, tried to say. Dana Trash is more like it. That's her new name on this channel, Dana Trash, because this lady has no journalistic integrity. She's just a partisan hack. Now, you just saw the clip of DeWine saying these were all hoaxes. You saw the clip with Dana Bash. You saw this other lady, Kate, okay, fake Kate, Miss Wanna Be Tough, pretending like she's tough, Miss Interrupt everybody every 2 seconds when she's doing an interview. heard that can't let you finish sentences? This is how the liberal media is run. You can't let you finish sentences. We need to make sure to correct every little word, even though you haven't completed your thought and completed your statement. We're going to correct it midway with false information as our opinion and get the former president to nearly be killed, the former and future president to nearly be killed multiple times. They're going to keep doing it till he's dead. That's what they're trying to do. Probably if he gets in office, he still got to worry about it even after he gets in office too. And these dummies are just going to keep going and going and going with the same narratives, even blaming him for what happens to him, even though they're the ones who've been pushing that Donald Trump is responsible for these bomb threats, which we now know are a hoax. These were fake from the beginning. False, fraudulent, baseless, their favorite word. False claims, baseless claims. They've been pushing false, baseless claims that Trump and Vance were creating bomb threats. Trump and Vance created harm, danger for people. These people lied. It was baseless. It was false. There was no correlation. There was no causality. But they pushed it anyway. There was much more evidence. There is much more evidence for the Haitians with the dogs, and at least there's pictures and videos and 911 calls and resident testimony. The Attorney General report in terms of a direct correlation between the comments and bomb threats. There is no proven causality whatsoever, but the liberal media, that didn't stop them at all. They just kept going with the narrative, pretending to be freaked out. It's causing harm, racial undertones. Like, shut the hell up, Dana Trash. Seriously, you made a fool of yourself again. These people love making themselves look stupid. Let's see Kate, since Kate says, why not just apologize, say you were wrong, and just move on. Let's see if you apologize and say you were wrong, Kate. Let's see if you say that. I want to see Kate come on the TV. I want to see Dana Trash come on the TV and say, you know what? We suggested that Donald Trump and JD Vance were responsible for these bomb threats, were culpable for it because of their dangerous rhetoric against Haitians and the claims that they made. We jumped the gun on those claims, saying that Trump caused this to happen. Turns out those rumors about bomb threats were false. Therefore, Trump did not incite any type of violent threats against Haitians. We apologize for that causality. We apologize for that insinuation because that wasn't the correct thing to do. There was no correlation. There was no real bomb threats. I'll bet all the money in every account that I have that neither one of them is ever going to say anything like that. If anything, they're going to turn around and say, well, there's still racist undertones to it. It still could cause some sort of threats against Haitians, or there are still other threats against Haitians that were not the bomb threat. They're going to make excuses. Okay, that's how these radical leftists operate. They don't admit when they're wrong about anything. We still haven't gotten any apologies for the Russia collusion stuff that they were pushing in election interference with Russia. We haven't got any apologies about the Hunter Biden laptop story. These people don't issue corrections when they're wrong, but they want to push Republicans on some cat and dog comments. But in regard to Ohio being overrun by Haitian migrants, they don't want to talk about that. They just want to talk about how you're harming the guys. Nobody cares about Haitian migrants. I don't care if it's Haitians watching this. It's the facts. Nobody really cares. People want them out of, or at least spread out or something to not overrun one freaking community. Spread them out or something. Don't just dump them all in one place. Like, it doesn't work. That's the truth. That's the facts. Give them more money or something to make sure that the whole community doesn't fall apart. Don't focus on a cat and dog comment. You don't see nobody want to talk about what's actually going on in the fake news. Don't want to talk about what's actually going on. Instead, they want to cats and dogs and racial undertones. You guys were wrong. Again. Let's see if they issue any corrections. Anybody want to make a bet? Let me know in the comments. Drop a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. I appreciate you watching the Black Anomaly Rising channel. I'm out.
So what I want Democrats to do, honestly, is to say, it's okay. Like, if Donald Trump wins, democracy will not end, the Constitution will not end, we're not going to live in a dictatorship, there will not be a bloodbath. All the things they say that are totally fabricated, to me, it would be a good day to stop doing that.